Hello and welcome. I am the Suit&Tie Dip&Chew guy, and this is not a review of Dip or Chew. This, as you've probably already guessed, is an installment of the Hand Back the Pack series. And in this installment, we will be talking about pipes and pipe tobacco. So, throughout my videos, I have referenced, I was going to smoke after this video, but the nicotine seems to be present in this dip, and I'm not going to now. I was not referencing smoking manufactured cigarettes. I was referencing smoking my pipe. Okay, so what you have here is your basic drugstore bought wooden briar wood pipe. Okay, it's a Dr. Grabo. It's a filtered pipe. All right, I do inhale, so I use a filtered pipe to take the moisture levels out of the smoke before I inhale it. Why do I think this is a safer alternative to manufactured cigarettes? Because the tobacco is not reconstituted and it is nowhere near as processed and sprayed down with chemicals as the reconstituted tobacco and manufactured cigarettes. So this is what I call my beater pipe. This is my everyday pipe. And I'm just going to go over my everyday stuff for this video because I just did a take that lasted near 20 minutes and then my computer overheated and locked up on me. So we're going to keep this one a little shorter. Okay, so this is a Dr. Grabo. You can always tell Grabo by the spade sign on the stem. This is the bowl, okay? The inner part of the bowl where the tobacco goes is the chamber. This wooden part coming out of the bottom of the bowl going towards the stem is the shank. This is the stem. It is not wood. It is like in acrylic, okay? Inside this pipe is a filter, okay? It is a baffle screen filter. It's basically sort of like rolled up cigarette papers with a plastic top coat on the outside, all right? And inside that circle, while the smoke's traveling through it, there's pieces of paper that act like baffle screens. They sort of go with the flow. And basically the smoke in one of these pipes isn't passing through anything like a cigarette filter. It's passing past and around paper. And the paper absorbs the moisture of the smoke. Pipe tobacco tends to be much more moist than any cigarette tobacco. So that's what I use. Now, the Dutch and especially the Danish, they tend to inhale. They have 9mm filters. What you just saw was a 6mm, and those filters are set up more like a cigarette filter. The smoke is actually passing through cotton. Sometimes there's charcoal involved. Those pipes, though, tend to be more expensive, and since the smoke is actually passing through cotton, it changes the flavor, the feel of the smoke, and I don't prefer them. I prefer these. Also, these pipes are relatively cheap. You can get them in tobacco stores fairly easily. They're also usually carried in Rite Aids and Walgreens. This one retails for about $27 to $30. There is a cheaper option if you wanted to try pipe smoking. That is a Missouri Measham corn cob. This, which also has a filter, retails for about $6. Okay, my only complaint with corn cobs is the ones that have the filters usually have larger chambers, which larger the chamber, the more tobacco. I like keeping my smoking sessions to a little over 5 minutes, so I usually favor a smaller chamber such as that. I don't know if this will register, but there's a definite size difference there. In person anyway. So what you're going to need one Dr. Grabo pipe. Okay, I'm just going to use this as an example, the pipe example that we'll be referring to. Okay, you will need 1 box of filters. Okay, these retail at about $1.50, or you can buy a blister pack that has 3 of these boxes for $4. There are 10 filters in the box. You will most likely, if you're a pack-a-day smoker, need to switch out a filter once a day. So $1.50, you got 10 days worth of filters. Pipe cleaners. I used the bristled ones. They clean better. I used to follow up with a regular soft one, but then I realized the soft one's really not doing anything. Dills is the brand I use because it is the same company that makes the pipes. This is about $2.70. Now, I'm in a metropolitan area, so this stuff may be found cheaper elsewhere. All right? So, $1.50, $2.70, $30, or $6. Okay? My everyday tobacco, my plain Jane, what I smoke on a daily basis, is half and half. One of these 12-ounce containers in a tobacco store in Pennsylvania costs about $42. They can be found online, though, at about $25. The problem is that you then pay $10 shipping and handling usually. Back when I used to go through 2 of these a month, that was still a good deal. I'd buy 2 for $50 and it cost me $10 still. $60, month supply, still less than most cartons of cigarettes, right? Since I've started using smokeless tobacco more, I don't go through 2 of these a month anymore. I am down to about 2/3 of one of these. So in that case, it's not really economically viable for me to order online. So I just pick up at local tobacco shops the pouches. It's a 1.5 ounce pouch. For somebody that's smoking a pack of cigarettes a day, this will have the same nicotine content of, it'll probably last you about a day and a half to 2 days. Now, one of these lasts me upwards of 5 to 6. I do smoke other stuff, but they're not my go-to over-the-counter. They call them over-the-counter tobaccos because they used to be always found in drugstores. I smoke stuff from Stanwell. I smoke a lot of stuff. I've smoked literally hundreds of pipe tobaccos through the years. Usually, I just smoke this. I will smoke the Stanwell Melange, and I smoke a number of the McBarons. Okay, McBaron I like because it is a family-owned company still, a few hundred years later. Anyway, other things that you'll need. The filters, the pipe cleaners. You will need a pipe tool, okay? This is what we call a Czech tool. That is because, you guessed it, it's made in Czechoslovakia. It's stamped right on there. Poker. I don't really use poker much, okay? Tamp. When you do the first light of pipe tobacco, the tobacco usually rises and expands. Sometimes you have to tamp it down depending on what the expansion's like. And the spoon. This is to dig out your bowl after the used tobacco has cooled down, all right? Now, because I don't want to dirty up both ends of this thing, because I have to hold on to one of them, I only use the spoon, the digger. I do not use the tamp end. For tamping, I use a golf tee. They're like perfect. Note, a lot of golf tees are powder coated painted. You need to sand off the powder coating or it's sort of going to reverse our whole less chemicals thing, okay? So I left the white powder coating at the top of this, so when looking down at the ashtray, I could see the thing in there, all right? But a golf tee. So, I must say, I lost my train of thought there for a second. Out of the installments of the Hand Back the Pack series, I'd be respectful not to say this is not the safest alternative, okay? You're lighting tobacco on fire and inhaling the smoke, all right? I enjoy smoking my pipe, but it is not, out of the installments thus far, snus is the safest alternative. Actual tobacco, safest alternative. Behind that is probably the dry snuff. And then I'd go with the pipe. And after that, making your own cigarettes, which I will address in another installment. Okay? This can be done really cheap, and that's another big selling point for this. Besides it not being reprocessed, sprayed down with God knows what tobacco, this works out a lot cheaper. Pipe tobacco is much stronger than cigarette tobacco. All right? You don't have to smoke as much. I can go 3-4 hours in between smoking this. And that's without using dip or chew in between. That's just, if there's a day for some reason where I am only smoking, I can go 3 or 4 hours. 3 hours easy, push it 4, maybe 5 without smoking. Back 20 years ago when I smoked Marlboro, there was no going 4 or 5 hours without smoking a cigarette. And if you smoke cigarettes, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You can go cheaper than this. You can go $6, $1.50, $5.60. That was a check tool. Those checks always acting crazy. You know, I mean, you could start smoking a pipe tomorrow for under $20. Okay? It'd be a lot safer in my mind, my opinion, than smoking a pack of Marlboro. Smoking this would be a lot safer than smoking the equivalent Marlboro, whatever they're calling them these days, reds, whites, you know. Smoking this would be way safer than smoking the equivalent pack and a half to 2 packs of any manufactured cigarette. And that's the point of this series. I'm not saying it is safe. I am merely saying, in my opinion, it is safer. Okay? But when it comes to actual tobacco alternatives, the safest, if you still want nicotine, you're not trying to quit nicotine, the safest form in my mind is snus. Personally, I enjoy smoking my pipe. And I prefer it over snus, but I will admit, I believe snus is much, much safer than inhaling smoke off of any burning tobacco product. That said, the other thing that is good about pipe smoking is the tobacco, as I said, is stronger. You don't inhale every time you puff. So if I'm going, I'll put my finger up when I would inhale. I am not lighting anything up in this video because my room here, I don't open the window. And many of you don't know this, but I have had a wingman on every video I've made so far. And he's lying right over there right now, and that would be my 11-and-a-half-year-old Jack Russell, Duncan. Okay? So I don't really feel like smoking Duncan out, and I don't really like secondhand smoke myself. So I'm not lighting anything up, but I will show you when I inhale on this, or, you know, I'll hold a finger up. Puff, puff. About every 5 or 6 puffs I inhale, okay? You're just taking in less smoke in. The smoke is stronger, okay? It's so strong, in fact, in some tobaccos, there's a lot of American smokers that do not inhale. They actually get nicotine intake by holding the smoke in their mouths, sort of like the idea of absorption, like dip or chew. But I inhale, but I do not inhale every time I draw on the pipe. So there are a lot of good reasons for this. I'm going to cut this out now because I could literally go on and on, but I do not want to. This will be listed as part 1. At some point in the future when I don't have Duncan actually in the room with me, I will show how I'm lighting this. There was one other thing, and you know what? I don't have it on my desk right now, and that was lighters. Obviously, you need a lighter, and I'm not quite sure what I did with mine. But this has just been a real brief, quick overview of pipes. I'll list it as part 1 and hand back the pack series pipes. And I will be back and I'll go over tobaccos in the future and whatnot. This, though, is a safer option in my mind than smoking manufactured cigarettes, and it is definitely cheaper. It's cheaper no matter which way you look at it. You could make it expensive if you want, but it can be as cheap as you want as well. Anyway, I am the Suit&Tie Dip and Chew Guy. This has been an overview of tobacco pipes. I do thank you for watching. I thank everyone that has subscribed, and I will be back tomorrow because we have a nor'easter here with multiple dip reviews. Anyway, thank you again. Do take care of yourselves, and God bless.